Hello YouTube. I might have a bit of a dirty face because I've been working in here again on my secret thing, which is going to be really disappointing, I think. Let me actually see what it is. It's not a big thing. Actually, pretty much the opposite of a big thing. Oh dear. So yesterday I was going to talk about procrastination, because very few people are as guilty of that I know personally as I am. I can put something off and put something off and put something off and put something off forever. For the most part though, it's because I realise, I know myself well enough to know that my ideas, as I've said to you before, get way out of control. You know, they get way too big, way too fast. And you know, what starts off as a simple idea just gets really, really complicated. For instance, this week when recording my gaming videos, I knew that I had this in here to do and a couple of other things. And I've got a long form narration job to do in the next few weeks. And so, you know, I knew that I was going to have these jobs to do, so I recorded the new videos earlier in the week than I normally do, the gaming videos for Night's Arcade. And rather than buying myself time, what happened there was, because they're new and I needed new thumbnails for them, I thought to myself, you know what I could do with that extra time? You know what I could do with that extra time? I could design a sort of basic template thumbnail for all the videos on the channel, but it needs to be really spectacular and superb. And I lost 2 or 3 hours of my week to this before realizing that yet again I was getting too carried away. So the thing is about a big job that you know, you put it off and you put it off and you put it off, and I don't know what everybody else's reasons are for this. I don't know what your reasons are for procrastination, assuming everybody does it to some degree, but assuming you would consider yourself a procrastinator. I don't know what anybody else's reasons are for it either. I know that mine generally are the worry of failure, the worry that the job is bigger than I can handle. And I think that's a very common thing, to procrastinate about something because it's big, because it seems big, it seems scary, it seems like, you know, you're never going to be able to pull this off. The amount of miles ahead of you are just too great. But to use one of those corny fridge magnet expressions that I despise, but every now and again, you know, if they wouldn't be shared so often if there wasn't a grain of truth in them, but they do get under my skin. And I'll cover that in a different video. But a journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step. Now, there are a lot of people out there. I've met a few of them, and I've talked to quite a few others online, and I've seen others in forums and in interviews and things like that. And the people that are much better writers than I am, probably, that talk and talk and talk about writing a novel and never quite get around to it. And you know, you've heard this expression that everyone has at least one book in them, and I've also heard it said that in most cases that's exactly where it should stay. But that's not always true. You know, you can always, you know, most people can squeeze something good out of it, but it takes a lot of practice and a lot of refinement. But the job itself is what stops people from doing it. Just like what stopped me from doing this till the last minute, because I tried to come up with another solution. But I knew that this thing that I'm doing for my wife was something that I really wanted to do. It's just, the last time I did it really without thinking about it. But this time, you know, because I had the time to put in a little more thought to it, it's probably turned out worse, I would say, than it did the last time. But the point is, when I wrote the novel, you know, I spent a lot of time, I wrote out chapter notes and character notes. I really fleshed my characters out before I started to write. And then I wrote a chapter plan. I thought roughly how many chapters I'd need, and I wrote roughly just a paragraph about what was going to happen in each one of them. And then the only way that ever got done, I thought it would take me years, was to just put one foot in front of the other. Sit down at a typewriter and go, today I'm going to write 1,000 words. And I just did. And eventually, within 3 months, it got done. And that's the way to do it.